What's up? What's up? What's up? What's up? What's up? Guys, no one's on yet, but I don't care. If you're watching this now, if you're watching it later, we have a lot to talk about today. If you don't know us already, this is the first of many afternoon snacks with the Slapshot Sweethearts. I am Megan. That is Shannon. And we have a lot to talk about today. Shan, ready to get into it?
Yeah, let's go. Welcome to our lunchtime viewing. This is fun. Megan and I are enjoying having this 30 minutes together during lunch.
It's different to have orange juice compared to like a bev, but I'm here for it.
Yeah, I mean, I have my little mug here.
We're so cute. Okay, let's jump into it.
Let's go.
Big congratulations to Patrick Marleau. Crazy accomplishment. He's now officially surpassed Gordie Howe with the most NHL games played, 1,768, and a great grammatical error.
Yeah, so I actually have this pulled up right here. Ready? I pulled it up because I was just so baffled at how they did this.
Like, who decided, okay, we're going to put these words on his gloves and we're going to see what happens?
So look at, like, I love the sentiment, right? Like, this is such a good sentiment. But most games played in NHL history, 1768th NHL games. Like, how many people looked at these and were like, yep, that's it. That's the one.
It's like, did they just like not realize there was an S, like 1,768th NHL game? Or was someone was like, yeah, we're going to do 1,768 NHL games. Like,
I also believe, I'm not 100%, but I believe I saw on Twitter, I apologize that I cannot speak to Patrick Marleau's entire career off the tongue. However, I believe he played very briefly for the Hurricanes also, and they're not on his glove.
I don't think he did.
I think, again, I could be wrong, but I saw it on Twitter.
I did a deep dive into him like 2 hours ago. And from what I can see, he was with the Sharks, and then from 2017 to 2018, he went to Toronto, went back to the Sharks, and then last year when he didn't make the playoffs, he was like, I'm going to go to the Penguins. They lost first round, and he was like, I'm going to go back. So now he's on a 1-year deal with the Sharks, and, quote, no sign of stopping now.
Yeah, so that was the debate that I saw on Twitter also was, is he going to stop at the end of the season? Is he going to hit 1,800? Is he just going to keep moving? Does Joe Thornton have any chance of catching up? I mean,
but Joe Thornton also has made the comment that he has no interest in staying just to chase that. Joe
Thornton's also not slowing down. So, I mean,
right. But he's not like doing it because he's like, I want to beat this. Like, that's not his goal here, is what apparently he said.
Which makes sense. I mean, I'm not concerned about that in any way.
Yeah, but they were drafted one after the other.
Yes. Yeah, it's more of an injury thing.
Number 1 pick in 97 to the Bruins, followed just directly by Marleau to the Sharks.
Well, so that's the thing. Like, Patrick Marleau has not missed a game in 12 years. Can you imagine not missing work for 12 years?
No, I have a personal day on Friday. I'm out.
Like 12 years, not even just miss work, but miss like large, like that's obviously hockey's a very athletic activity. Like that is insane.
How has he avoided injuries like that?
I mean, I think he powers through them. I think he's just
keeps going.
Yeah, he's not, which is incredible with his age. I mean, good for 41. Him.
Like we talk about old players being like 36. We're like, they're getting up there. He's 41.
I mean, good for you, man. Like I can't even fathom. Like,
yeah. But we will see what happens. Like I said, he's signed to a 1-year deal right now. So we'll see if anything changes going into next season. If he kind of jumps ship again somewhere else, sticks around. I don't know.
But I don't think he's going to go anywhere. I don't think it's going to be like,
I think he's going to stay maybe for another like year or two, and then we'll see what happens.
Yeah, I think it'll be something with his family again. But now we can switch from seasoned veteran to day one rookie. I pulled out my Panthers jersey because Spencer Knight was just named the starter for tonight's game. And that is breaking news as of like an hour ago. I think they're still waiting for the coach to confirm it in his press conference this afternoon. But Spencer Knight was signed through.
Likely, but they didn't fully confirm.
Right. So he's likely to start for the Panthers tonight after their back-to-back they're playing the Blue Jackets. The Blue Jackets are not doing too hot. They are
this is their 8th of 8 against the Blue Jackets. And right now, Florida's 6-0-1. So they're not looking too bad. So hopefully Spencer Knight can make that 7-0-1. That'd be great for him to not only just finish out this series, but have his first win, like bring home a puck at the end of the night. That isn't a loss.
I mean, but you consider Spencer Knight's year, right? So he plays for USA Hockey. They win. He had an incredible season. Then he goes back to BC and plays again incredible in the NCAA tournament, even though they lost. He signed with the Panthers 3 weeks ago, and he is already making his debut with a team that it could be a playoff contender. I mean, this is a wild year for a 20-year-old.
They're tied for first right now in Central, right?
Yeah, it's a tight race. It's a pretty tight race. So, I mean, good for Spencer Knight, good for Patrick Marleau, 2 entirely separate situations, but it is going to be crazy to watch for the next few weeks. And the Central Division, the top 3 are pretty solidified. Like, they are all going to the playoffs. It's just going to be what the seeding
it's
order is.
Going to be the Hurricanes, Panthers, Lightning. Nashville's currently in 4th and Dallas in 5th. They're only 3 points apart. Dallas is still catching up with games played. Them and the Hurricanes are both at 44, which is the lowest in Central. But, I mean, that fourth spot is really up for grabs in the Central right now.
Which, I mean, I find it ironic because we're very close with a lot of different Stars fans, and I hadn't looked at the standings, and I thought the Stars were in freaking dead last, and they're not. They're in 5th. Like, get out of town.
In my head, they never win, though. I know. I feel like I'm always messaging my friends. I'm like, rough night. Like,
But they're not even that far off. Like, I mean, it's interesting because the Predators
they were in dead last for a while.
Yeah, they had a resurgence, which, like, good for them.
And now the Blackhawks are falling.
They are.
Expected.
Is it like, I mean, we always knew that 4th seed in the Central Division wasn't going to do that well. So, I mean, once they get to the playoffs, that 4th seed's not going to make it very far to begin with. I mean, good for them for making the playoffs. I think that's a lot of
far. It's not. They don't have the opportunity.
I mean, that situation is comparable for a lot of the divisions, right? I mean, contrary, the Bruins are probably going to get the 4th seed unless they leapfrog the Penguins, right? But you know, the 4th seed in the Central Division is nothing compared to the East Division. The 4th seed in the West Division is nothing compared to the East Division. And even I think the North Division is probably a little bit more competitive. The West Division's 4th seed right now is between the Yotes, the Blues, and then even the Sharks aren't out of it. I was looking at it earlier, and they're only 3 points back. Like, that is an entire question mark.
Because the Blues and the Yotes, like, they're 1 point difference.
Yeah.
And then there's only 3 to the Sharks. Like, that's 2 games. But while we're talking about the West, I think tonight, if Anaheim loses, I think, in any way, then Vegas officially clinches their spot.
Clinches their playoff spot?
Yeah.
Okay, because Vegas...
I'll assume, like, yeah, Vegas is going to go, obviously. But, like, officially clinches, I think, would be tonight, depending on what happens with Anaheim.
Interesting. Okay. There are a few different games, and there's a few different matchups that are really interesting moving forward. Like I said, the Bruins have the potential to move up to a higher seed only because they still have, out of their, I think, 12.
Not tonight, though. Actually, are we playing tonight? Yeah, you play tonight. We play tonight.
So I was going to say, we play the Sabres tonight. We have 5 matchups against the Sabres out of our, like, 11 or 12 games.
Hey, anything can happen with the Sabres, Shannon.
You're right, but it has to be noted that the Bruins have won 2 games against the Islanders and 1 against the Capitals in the last 3 games. So,
hey, is there a Taylor Hall conspiracy here that maybe he was your missing piece?
Oh, for sure. Him and you can't even. Curtis Lazar looks incredible too. Don Sweeney. This is like one of the rare compliments I will ever give Don Sweeney, but he mastermind getting Curtis Lazar in that trade because he looks incredible. That it was the lower tier forwards we needed to really combine those younger offensive players that didn't know what they were doing, and he did that leadership that, quite frankly, Krejci cannot provide in the depth that they needed. And I'm shocked that Curtis Lazar is the one that can do it, but he's doing it.
Right, of all people who to come in and turn it around, like what?
So a look ahead for tonight's game, like we said, the Penguins are playing the Devils. That's going to be a good one. Bruins are playing the Sabres. Again, a good one. Rangers and the Islanders is a big game for New York. Really big.
They both kind of need this. The Islanders just fell back behind Washington. They had leaped over them at a few days ago, literally this week. And then the Rangers only 4 points behind Boston right now. So if Boston loses to the Sabres, I don't know. Wild story here. The Rangers can kind of make a run for it. I didn't say that. That wasn't me. But
No, it's a concern, right? Because I've said it on Twitter. There's only 10 points separating the first seed in the East and the fifth seed. And that's, there are a 10-point swing right now. There's 10 or 11 games left. That's over a 10-point swing. Literally anything can happen. The Capitals have taken a couple bad losses as of late. I don't think that they're the best team in the East right now. The Islanders have taken a couple bad losses too, but I think that they can still hold their own more than the Capitals.
The Bruins have too. You guys have the lowest game count right now.
Yes, we do.
You have the most potential to score. Who is it? The Caps are at 46. Islanders and Penguins are at 45. You guys are at 43. That's an extra 4-point potential against 2 and then 6.
So it's a great schedule too.
That gets you to first place if you
we play the Sabres quite a few times, and then we go into a game or two against the Rangers and the Devils, and then we wrap it around at the end against the Capitals and I believe the Islanders. I'd have to look again, but the harder matchups are coming at the very end, and by that point I think the seeding will be pretty solidified and that the Bruins won't have to worry as much about the games, whereas the ones against the Sabres right now are really the critical games.
Yeah, you need to stack those points in the meantime because those are your missing games right now.
Right.
So we'll see. Jumping over to the Central Division for tonight, we have the second of the back-to-back with the Lightning and Hurricanes. We already talked about Blue Jackets and Panthers, second of their back-to-backs. And then also for the Red Wings and Stars, they both played last night. We'll kind of recap that. The Panthers beat the Blue Jackets 4-2. The Stars beat the Red Wings in a shootout 3-2. And then the Lightning beat the Hurricanes 3-2. Oh, Panthers was 4-2. Did I say that? I don't know. But the Lightning beat the Hurricanes in OT. So I'm guaranteed they're exhausted.
Yeah.
Those back-to-backs are rough, especially when 2 of them went to at least OT.
Yeah. The overtime is really going to be difficult. And I think the main point here is that most of these teams are either fighting for a seeding spot or fighting for a playoff spot. The Lightning and the Hurricanes are fighting for seeding. The Panthers are fighting for seeding. The Blue Jackets are whatever. But the Red Wings and the Stars are fighting for a playoff spot. And the Red Wings have been a pest in the Central Division. Obviously their seeding doesn't matter. They're not going to make the playoffs, but they have handed out some annoying losses the same way that some of the other East teams that we have.
Yes, this is what I said on our stream last week when we had a Sabres pod on. Yes, you have no chance. Sorry, it's true. But you're so important.
Yeah.
We can't count it out because that's such a difference maker this year. If you can pull out these random wins, like the Sabres beating the Penguins this weekend, ouch. But that's so important. Who knows?
Yeah, and the Sabres are in an odd situation, right? Because they finally dumped Taylor Hall. They dumped Curtis Lazar. That was almost the turning of a corner for the franchise, even though it's not going to matter this season. It is the turning point for the offseason and that rebuild that they really needed to go into. And it's almost energized them a little bit because they have played pretty well since they dumped Taylor Hall. And I don't know what it is. It's not like he was a negative energy in the locker room.
I was going to say he helps one, but was pulling down.
He had no problems with the team. It's almost like the team was like, okay, we're finally getting somewhere. We're finally going somewhere. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's interesting to look at. And I think especially when you look at the locker room dynamics of some of these teams that are in the bottom, they're not bad, which is very interesting in comparison to beyond the Blue Jackets. I think their locker room dynamic is probably pretty horrible, but there are some other ones that are interestingly good for what they're going through.
Yeah. Let's jump to the West. Tonight we have the Ducks versus the Kings, and then we have the Avalanche versus the Blues. Which, like I was saying, so Vegas will clinch the playoffs if the Ducks beat the Kings in any fashion. It can be an OT win, whatever. If the Ducks win, because then the Kings drop again. So they're both bad.
Okay.
But then Vegas has officially clinched.
So the Avalanche, so that's important for Vegas, but it's out of their control. I mean, Vegas is making the playoffs anyway, so it doesn't really matter what game.
Right. Vegas is number 1 right now. They're going to be 1 or 2, but they really want that 1, so they're not facing Minnesota. Like we talk about how like the West is kind of like you have these top 3, and then you have this like 4-5 area. It's so important for Vegas if they want to go all the way to have that 1 seed so they're not facing the Wild.
Yeah, I think that's, again, something that's really interesting when you compare the divisions. Some of the other seedings are actually easier when you look at 2-3 versus 1-4. I think that if the Capitals face the Bruins 1-4, that's going to be a really tough matchup for the Capitals. Whereas if they played the Penguins 2-3, I think it would be different because the teams play much better against each other, which is comparable to Vegas, because if they had to play Minnesota, they'd be screwed. Minnesota looks great for whatever reason. And Vegas has been a little bit streaky in the sense that they haven't played well against those middle tier teams. They really are dominating against good teams. They're playing down. They're dominating against good teams and really, really bad teams. And so this Avalanche Blues matchup tonight is really big because the Avalanche can move back up to that 1st seed, and the Blues are fighting for that 4th seed against the Yotes. Like we said, they're only 1 point back.
They will not move up to the 1st seed, though. They will still be in 2nd because they will have the same amount of points because Vegas isn't playing tonight, but they will have 1 less win.
Got it. Okay. Well, so the Blues can move up to that 4th seed, though, which is important.
Yeah. Yeah. They can hop over the Yotes.
But the Yotes have more games in hand.
Yes, by 3.
Which is big for Arizona if they can. This is Arizona. The 4th seed is Arizona's to lose. We have said this before, and for whatever reason, they're literally losing it. But the 4th seed is Arizona's, and I think part of it is because the Blues are having an annoying 2019 resurgence like they did to win this when they went from the freaking bottom of the division to win. But the Blues are being pesky, and I really think that this is Arizona's seed to win. I do not think that the Blues have earned this seed. I really don't think the Sharks have, but for whatever reason, they're still in the discussion. And I think that Arizona has earned this. And although they're not going to go very far in the playoffs, they have a chance to at least fight their way in the 1st round if they can just hold on to the damn seed.
Oh, who's to say? Who's to say? But last but not least, let's not forget our friends from the North. We have the Leafs taking on the Canucks tonight. That is the number 1 versus the number 6 right now. You can guess how this is going to go.
I mean, I will say nothing about this matchup. I mean, it's probably going to be the Leafs win. However, Braden Holtby had an absolutely incredible save the other day that I saw on SportsCenter. Yeah. And so they were debating on SportsCenter whether this save was luck or skill. And I was arguing that it was skill because you have to know how to control your body.
He is like literally looking up.
So he can see the puck.
No. Yes. He's like facing the rafters.
So the thing was they were comparing, obviously this is a hockey show. They were comparing this, which is why this is a bad comparison. Which of these 3 plays were more lucky? It was Steph Curry flinging the ball at the net against the Celtics with his left hand and he got it in. That's pure luck. You don't practice how to shoot with your opposite hand from the 3, right? Then they had Braden Holtby's save, and then they had this weird ass like sack from Delaware's quarterback where he like flung it in the air and his tight end happened to catch it. And I was like, well, that certainly wasn't skill either. So
okay, so like in that like comparison, I would give Holtby like, okay, that was the most skill.
I'm not saying he actively was like, yes.
Know what side the puck is on. Like,
yeah, he certainly had some luck there, but I think it did have to take a level of skill for him to like use his legs. Whereas I know some other goalies wouldn't do that.
No, they really wouldn't. I don't know. I wish the best for Holtby. He can do so much better.
I know. I mean, that signing hurt as someone who lives in DC and to see him go, but I mean, it wasn't the Canucks season, man. And I just want to point out that we had some fans from the North come on and say that the Canucks could have been a playoff contender earlier this season. And I just want to circle that right back.
We called that out as a no.
Circle that right on back because that wasn't happening. The Canucks are not making the playoffs. I will say that now. I actually think the Canadians have that pretty solidified unless the Maple Leafs, the Flames have something crazy occur in the next 5 games that really propels them. But the Canadians really have a hold on that 4th seed. So the North is pretty solidified. Any seeding in the top 3 might swap around, but it's pretty comfortable up there in terms of who they're going to face. And I think that's actually a benefit because then the Maple Leafs can prepare for the Canadians, the Oilers for the Jets, vice versa, and they know what they can be doing now versus in 5 or 6 games when everybody else finally starts to get a picture of who they can be preparing for, and they don't have a leg up the same way.
Totally. Well, guys, that's what's happening today, yesterday, tonight, whatever's coming up. This is our first one of these. We're going to start doing this almost every day. Sometimes work gets in the way, but we're going to try our best to do this every single day. So make sure you have subscribed, turn on those notifications so you know when we come on here.
Yeah, we'll fluctuate a bit between 12 and 1. So, somewhere in there. Like I got the dentist tomorrow. We're going to go a little early tomorrow.
But anyway, guys, you know where to find us. And preview, we are going live on Thursday.
Yes, we will be watching a big East game between the Flyers and the Rangers. It's obviously, like we were discussing, the Rangers are in a really tough spot. They've got to hop up and compete against an East that's looking really strong right now, but they're still in the discussion. The Flyers are pretty much out of the discussion, and so they're a good matchup for the Rangers to really show that they can contend in the East. We're really excited to watch it. Megan has debuted her Rangers jersey. This will be a big conversation for us, and we've got some great podcasts hopping on to join us, so we're excited.
For sure. Until then, you know where to find us on the line. Now, on Twitter, @SweetheartsPod, Instagram, /Sweethearts. Make sure you're subscribed, following everywhere. We will see you guys back here tomorrow.
Thank you.